guys, it's me, and today I'm here to talk about all the movies I watched in November. That intro in the middle of the reels, I apologize, but I promised you this video when I did my movies I watched in October video. It's still a couple of days late, but past week was just a weird week for me, so yeah. I was planning to do this, upload this on Sunday, but it's Tuesday and I'm filming this, so whoops. I have quite a few movies to talk about in November. My movie watching was a little bit more spread out than in October. I literally, like, I checked after filming that video, the last movie I watched in October was on the 15th, so literally like halfway through the month I stopped watching movies. These were a little bit more spread out. I have 2 shorts as well, so yeah. Let's just get into this. Just a quick spoiler warning: if you don't like Marvel, this might not be the movie for you. Or maybe if you do like Marvel, this also might not be the video for you, because I don't have the most popular Marvel opinions and I know that, and I don't give a shit. So let's begin. The first movie I watched in the month of November is Ant-Man, which came in 2015, and I gave 5 out of 5 stars to it as a rewatch. Armed with the astonishing ability to shrink in scale with increase in strength, Master Chief Scott Lang must embrace his inner hero and help his mentor Dr. Hank Pym protect the secret behind his spectacular Ant-Man suit from a new generation of towering threats against seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Pym and Lang must plan and pull off a heist that will save the world. Can you tell that my main hobby is reading? Because I can't. That was such a struggle and I don't know why. But basically, I've been in the mood to rewatch a Marvel movie for a while, and then I watched Super Collins Brothers, like their ranking of all the MCU movies, and they were like talking about Ant-Man, and I was like, damn, I really want to rewatch that. So I did, and I really had a great time with it. I bumped it up a star from my first watch, because when I decided to like watch through the MCU, for some reason Ant-Man is the one I started with, because I was just like, I need something that's gonna pull me in rather than the first movie, which I'm very glad I did, because if Iron Man was what had to pull me into the MCU, wouldn't have worked. Just saying that. It's not a bad movie, it's just like not really my thing. So at the time, a couple of Marvel movies were on Netflix, and Ant-Man was the one that spoke to me the most, so that's what I watched. I also feel like it does lean on some other things from the Marvel universe, but I feel like it does stand alone pretty well as well. So that was definitely a great decision, even though like it seems a bit random. And then I started from the beginning and I watched all the way through, skipping Ant-Man because I'd already seen that one. So this is my first rewatch of it, and I feel like definitely the fact that it was like my first Marvel movie, like, had me give it a 4-star when I initially watched it. While it definitely is a 5-star movie for me, I think it's perfect. I think it's really funny. It has great action scenes in it. Like, typically I'm not one for the fighting scenes, it's not really my thing, but I really like them in Ant-Man, especially in the first one, because the villain has like the same shrinking ability, and I feel like that just makes for a lot of fun dynamics and fun shots throughout the movie. So I really like that. I really love Scott Lang as the main character. He's fantastic. And then just like all of the side characters are also great. I love like kind of his training to become Ant-Man, and just like his whole backstory, and it's such a good movie, and I really love it. And I know Ant-Man, his movies aren't like the most developed, but I generally have this upon like my favorite Marvel movies, because I generally just really like it a lot, and it does a lot of things that I typically don't like. Like, it's a heist movie. I'm not, even though like I like heist stories, for some reason I don't like heist movies, but this one I really did. Let's move on to Luca, which came in 2021, and I give 5 out of 5 stars to 2 young boys and experience an unforgettable Italian summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. But all the fun is threatened by a deeply held secret. There are sea monsters from another world just below the water surface. This movie, ever since like it first came out, my mom has been very interested in it, but like, and me also, but like she very much so. But we never really got around to watching it because she doesn't really watch a lot of movies. But in the beginning of the month, I was just like really, like, I was in a mood to watch a movie, and we were hanging out, and I told her like I really want to watch a movie, and she's like, "Oh, which one?" I'm like, "I don't care. Like my taste in movies is wider than yours, so you decide." And she picked Luca. And I was excited because, like I said, I wanted to watch it for a while, even though this would have been so much better seen in summer, just because I had the whole vibes of it. But still, was a fun watch, so I'm not complaining. And yeah, I had a great time with it. The only complaint I have for this is like, Disney, dear God, make the gays kiss. But for the rest, genuinely, this movie is so gay, like in every single aspect. Like I heard people talk about it and I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably just, you know, a friendship between two guys that's very close, very often get misconstrued into like, this is gay. And I was like, it's kids, who knows? And I watched it and everything is gay. Like even like so many of the themes of the movie, with like them hiding to like sea monster and like acceptance around that, very much allegories for being gay. So yes, everything about this movie is gay, except somehow Disney was like, no, not gonna do that. So many romantic like rom-com tropes were also used in this, and like the friendship between Luca and Alberto, which I also thought was interesting, which I'm not gonna go in depth about because I have like one specific scene in mind that's like towards the end, so I won't talk about it because spoilers. But I do have to say that Alberto is very much a jealous boyfriend in this entire movie. I love it. But yeah, I really liked the characters even just beside that. I thought it had a fun storyline. It has a lot of great themes in it that are like allegories to other things, which Disney does a lot, but like you could have done made this gay. I know it's Pixar, but like Disney's in charge of Pixar, so like I'm sure that Disney was the one that held this one back. And yeah, fun characters. I really loved the animation style on this one. I don't know what it is that makes it like different from other Pixar movies exactly. I'm not that into like art and dissecting. Other people will tell you, I'm sure. But I really loved the animation style on this one. I thought it all looks so pretty. I think this actually could do with a sequel. It doesn't have to, obviously. But I do think like a sequel of this to this could be interesting, depending on what they decide to do. And I don't really say that often that I want a sequel when there's none announced, because we're overdoing sequels nowadays, we all know that. But I definitely feel like it could be interesting to like tell a story with them a little bit older. And then Disney Plus Day came around and I watched some other movies with my mom because she was really excited about Disney Plus Day. Me too, but for other reasons. We first watched Ciao Alberto, which came out in 2021. Then I gave away to which is best friend Luca away at school. Alberto is enjoying his new life in Porto Rosso, working alongside Massimo, the imposing tattooed one-armed fisherman of a few words, who's quite possibly the coolest human in the entire world as far as Alberto is concerned. He wants more than anything to impress his mentor, but it's easier said than done. This is a Pixar short that was released on Disney Plus Day, and because we had just watched Luca a couple of days earlier, of course I had to watch this one as well. And I don't rate shorts because I don't really know how to, and I feel like my reviewing of it is also not as great, so I'm just gonna give you some like thoughts I had. Basically, I really like this, although I would have preferred this as a full movie. This is definitely something I saw in like the sequel potential. I said earlier where I was like at the potential for like when they're a little bit older, but also this where Alberto is on his own and like kind of figuring out the world. Like this, I think could have been a very interesting like full-length movie, and I feel like this one felt a little bit too short. I do really like the like father-son like relationship that Alberto and Massimo have together, and how that grew throughout the short was also really well done. It's just as beautifully animated as Luca is, so I'm not complaining on that aspect at all. And I do like the story that was here. Like I said, I just kind of wish it was a little bit more. Then we also watched Jungle Cruise, which came out in 2021, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars to. Dr. Lily Houghton enlists the aid of wisecracking skipper Frank Wolf to take her down the Amazon in his dilapidated boat. Together they search for an ancient tree that holds the power to heal, a discovery that will change the future of medicine. There are a lot of difficult words in that, I apologize. English is not my first language. So this again, courtesy of my mom. It's a movie I was interested in, but not necessarily one that was released on Disney Plus Day that I was really waiting for. But my mom really was curious about this movie. We watched it and I quite liked it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Therefore, a 2 out of 5 star rating. I feel like it was very middle of the road. I feel like it was very long and I could have done just condensed a little bit. There were a lot of fighting scenes that could have been cut out or just like shortened. Like I said earlier with Ant-Man, fighting scenes not necessarily my favorite. I lose interest very quickly in fighting scenes, and this one definitely did that. Like there are some movies This is how I know I'm watching a great action movie, if the fighting scenes hold my attention to him the entire way through. Did not do this at all. I just feel like the story was like very stretched out, and like moments that actually progressed the movie are very few and far in between, because there was just so much random shit going on. I do know a little about, because Jungle Cruise is based off a Disneyland / world attraction, and I do know like the basics of it. And I know that dad jokes are like puns are a huge part of that. I really like how it was incorporated in this. I thought it was very well done and wasn't the main crutch of the humor, which I also appreciated, but I really like the way that was incorporated into this movie, and I feel like very like fans of the attraction but also very much appreciated. I don't know, because I've never been, so I couldn't really be able to tell you. I also think the characters were alright, even though I was kind of, I don't know, wishing a bit more. Kind of like the only character that feels memorable in my head right now, like about a month after watching it, a little bit less, is Jack Whittle's character, and I don't remember his name, I'm terrible with names, but that's the character kind of stuck in my head. Also, Disney, thank you for doing someone expressively gay. Appreciated. Although with an actual love storyline that would have even been better. But I did quite like actually having a character discuss that he was gay, especially because it was set in a historical setting. I thought that was very interesting. So yeah, if they're gonna do a Jungle Cruise 2, give Jack Whittle a love interest, please. And I know not every gay storyline needs to center around romance, but from Disney I want the gay romance, like a proper gay romance. Thank you very much. Especially because the actual romance that was in this was shite, so could have made it gay at least. You know, I can forgive a lot. The romance is gay. The moment of the month, like honestly, I watched this All Too Well, the short film which came out in 2021. Then I gave it into a short film featuring the extended version of the All Too Well of the song All Too Well by Taylor Swift. A troubled couple's romance blossoms before it eventually falls apart. I was doubting to count this as a movie because I feel like it was just like a music video, but the fact that there was a scene in there that was just like fully acted without music, put it on the list. Also, everyone I follow on Letterboxd marked it as a movie, so here we go. We love this. I thought it was a great short film that fit the song really well. Taylor obviously had a great vision of what she wanted to do, wanted it to look like, and it worked really well. The scene in it that is like fully acted and not just like used in the background of the song, that was also so great. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it because it was mainly a music video and I don't know how to review music videos, but I really loved it, like everyone. And here we go on a little bit of a Marvel binge because basically I have been behind on Marvel movies for a while because of my own. No one else's fault is this. I would love to blame this on my local theater closing, but this is completely my fault. So yeah, I was 3 movies behind. Now I'm only behind on the Eternals, but that's because, like I said, I don't have a movie theater near me, so I need to watch it. I need to wait for streaming. But for the rest, I'm caught up to date now. So I binged 3 movies. First off, we have Spider-Man Far From Home, which counts as a 19, and I give 5 out of 5 stars to. Peter Parker and his friends go on a summer trip to Europe, however, they will hardly be able to rest. Peter will have to agree to help Nick Fury uncover the mystery of creatures that cause natural disasters and destructions throughout the continent. I know this is unpopular, but I adore this Spider-Man and this Peter Parker. I haven't seen any of the other ones. I am going to. Don't worry. That's on my plan for sometime in December and January. I want to get a start on it this month, but I also want to watch a lot of Christmas movies this month, so like, I don't know if it's going to happen in December. It's definitely on the agenda. But this Spider-Man I just really connect because I just feel like he's a very relatable character for me. So I really like that. And that's why I also always love his movies, I think. Fingers crossed. It won't go on in the future. Because the character of Peter Parker as he's portrayed in the MCU movies is just like very relatable to me. And I don't know, that's all like personal stuff, I know that, but like movie reviews are all personal. Like you can't review something without any personal bias, but I just need to point that out because I know that's going to be controversial for other people. So I really loved this. I thought this was really well done. The reason why it took me so long to watch this movie is because I wasn't ready how this was going to deal with grief. I'm gonna say more just in case people are watching that aren't caught up on the MCU, so I don't want to like spoil too much, but I knew this was gonna deal with grief in a way, and I wasn't sure that I was ready for that. And I feel like this movie did it very well. There was a couple of scenes in here where it really is like heavy-handed, and like they really spend proper time like grieving, and I cried during those moments. But I also feel like the overall tone of this movie is a bit more lighthearted, and I still had a lot of fun watching it. And I laughed a lot, which was also great. I liked the story. It was spoiled for this movie in quite a couple of aspects, but there were still a lot of moments that had me shocked. Like, I was trying to journal while watching this movie, and I think I only got like 2 pages of it throughout the entire thing, because I just kept getting so distracted by the movie and what was going on. And not necessarily because like it was shocking, it was more like towards the end, but just like completely abandoned even trying to look like I was making progress, because that was just like getting me one way or another. But I really liked it. I do think that the relationship between MJ and Peter could have been set up better, because I think like what they did with it in this movie was very cute and was realistic, had like the stench of awkwardness to it, which I really like, because that's how teens behave. But I feel like it should have been set up better in like the previous movie, or they should have just like pushed this to the next and then have more setup in this one, because I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere in this case. Moving on, I watched Black Widow, which came in 2021, and gave 45 stars to. Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow, confronts the darker parts of a ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. So this takes place after Civil War. So we go a little bit back in the timeline, and originally when this came out, I saw a lot of praise for it, especially people loving Yelena, which I agree with. And ever since I watched it, I've seen more negative reviews of it, and I have to say I don't agree. It's definitely not like the best Marvel movie, but I still had a lot of fun with it. I get the Marvel movies, because in the MCU there's still like a bunch of different genres, and this one falls more like the spy category, and movies that fall more in like that category I've typically historically also really not liked that much. Like, I am not the biggest fan of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which I know by many is considered the best MCU movie, but for me it's like middle of the ranking, I believe. I'm gonna say something blasphemous. It's the last in the Captain America trilogy for me. That's so blasphemous, I know. Like, for everyone, that's the first Avenger, that's my first one. Side tangent, my Captain America trilogy ranking is the first Avenger, Civil War, the Winter Soldier, which I know is like opposite for most people. But that shows you I'm just like not really into the whole spy thing, because the Winter Soldier also kind of falls more towards that genre. So I was very hesitant about Black Widow, but I loved it. I really like this. I feel like it's mainly because this focuses a lot on Natasha's kind of like family dynamic, mainly with Yelena, but also like her parents, and I thought that was very well done. I really liked how that was done. Do also think that finally seeing the Red Room was also very interesting, because we've heard a lot about it over the different movies, just kind of like more like throwaway information on Natasha that doesn't really hold any importance to like the plot of said movie. But I like how this movie kind of goes more in depth about the Red Room and the history of the Red Room and what happened. So I thought that was all very interesting. I really loved Yelena. I know this movie was basically just a setup for Yelena, but like they did it right. So I love her so much. She's such a great character, and I really liked her. She also has great humor, which is fantastic. I love her so much. I'm excited to see her more in future movies. And then the last movie for today is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which came out in 2021. I give 45 stars to. Shang-Chi must confront the past he thought he left behind when he is drawn into the web of the mysterious Ten Rings organization. Okay, so this is the reason why I did like the little Marvel catch-up, because this was released on Disney Plus Day. I love it so much. This was probably my most anticipated Marvel movie for 2021, which I know is unpopular because everyone's raving about No Way Home. I just have a gut feeling I'm gonna be disappointed by that one, but this one I was really excited for. And then like more and more, like when it came out, then my TikTok page was like full of people who had seen it in the theaters and like their reviews, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this one. And it did not disappoint. It's not a 5-star for me, because I feel like there were some things that I'm just kind of like, I need to see more of to really be like, I don't know, but I kind of feel like Shang-Chi could definitely become a favorite character in the future. I just feel like this was a setup movie, which makes sense. But I still really loved it for that. Like usually like introductory movies go back pretty low on my ranking list. Like especially phase 1, that's just not a great phase. But I thought this was a pretty great introductory movie because I feel like I got very quickly attached to the character of Shang-Chi, but also to some of the side characters. I really liked his friendship with Katie, I believe it is. Like the day after this, I saw Hawkeye started, so I am confused if it's Katie or Kate. No, Kate is from Hawkeye. So it's Katie. Okay, so names, not my thing. Like his friendship with Katie was very interesting, well done. I've seen Aquafina in a couple of movies and I didn't really like her in those, so I was a bit nervous about that in here. Really loved her in this as well. Acting was great. I really thought, again, this was very beautifully made. I really thought like the shots were very beautiful, especially again fighting scenes had me going. Like a couple, there were some that were kind of typical, but some that kind of like generally felt like intense. Like I get why they call it fighting choreography now, because that was so beautifully done and greatly shot as well. I really loved the like inclusion of like the magical things in this movie as well. I thought it was very well done. Everything was very well explained, and I didn't really feel like I was watching like such a long movie, because typically when I'm watching this, I believe this is like over 2 hours, I believe. Yes, typically when I watch it, I have a short attention span, so when I watch a movie that's over 2 hours, even though like I can be like fully engrossed in it, like with Spider-Man one, I can feel that it is 2 hours long. This one just like passed by so quickly because I had so much fun with it, and I thought it was so well done, and the plot just constantly kept moving without generally feeling like moments didn't really have time to breathe, because that's can also be a problem. This one I didn't really have that. That is it for this month. It is a bit of a longer video than the last ones. I apologize, but I have a lot more to say about these movies, and also just like they're better set in my memory because I watched them more recently. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of these movies, if you watched them, as well as some movies you watched in November, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've